Okay, well, welcome back. If you have your Bibles, we're going to be looking at Philippians chapter 2, and a very famous verse, verse 12. So we'll go back to Philippians 2:12. And this is where Paul says, "Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence," that is, while he's in prison, he's not there with them, "work out your own soteria, your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure." We really all need to realize that whatever we do in life, there are going to be difficulties, right? Like, for example, if somebody wants to graduate from high school, well, there's lots of endurance that needs to take place to actually graduate. You have to pass your classes, you have to pass enough classes, and etc. And you have to be a good citizen, or else they'll send you to a separate type of school or whatever. And then you can graduate from high school. In order to graduate from college, it's even harder, because now you've got 120 hours or more, and you've got lots of distractions. All of a sudden, people get, if they live away from home, they've got people that are getting drunk all the time, people doing drugs all the time, people who aren't going to class, and there's lots of bad influences. And if you aren't careful, you can have a person who doesn't even make it out of their first year in college. So that's the case. And the same thing is true with everything. In work, one of the things that's happened today is it's not uncommon with young people to have a resume filled with jobs that each last less than a year. And so, somebody who's 28 may have 7 different jobs, each of which lasted like a max of a year. And it's because they have a hard time hanging in there with one place. Sometimes it's, okay, they're advancing and they're making more money or they're doing something. But lots of times they just get bored or they're not paying enough attention or whatever. And in terms of the Christian life, there are lots of things that can get us sidetracked. And one of the things that can get us sidetracked is when people are giving us grief for our faith, when people are persecuting us for our faith. And so really, in a sense, what Paul is talking about here is an encouragement for us to hang in there in the midst of difficulty. Let me show you here. Paul, there's the verse. He calls them my beloved, clearly they're believers, as you've always obeyed, not in my presence only, but now much more my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And I point out, if we assume that the word salvation always refers to deliverance from eternal condemnation, we have a potential problem here, because it sounds like Paul would be teaching work salvation, right? Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Well, Paul's not teaching work salvation. The 2 other uses of soteria, or salvation, in Philippians both refer to successfully handling trials in a way that honors God. We looked at Philippians 1:29 in the last session. "For I know this will turn out for my soteria, my deliverance, my salvation, through your prayers and the supply of the Spirit." And he went on in the next verse to say that I wouldn't be ashamed and that Christ would be magnified through my body. So that's the deliverance he had in mind. And so he's using the word salvation figuratively, I think, in 1:19. It's not exactly deliverance from anything per se. He's really speaking in terms of vindication.